Welcome to
Introverts Own Your Voice. I'm Tom Marcoux.
And I'm Johanna McLeod.
This episode is Move Forward Even When You're Criticized.
That's not a real title.
You're criticizing the title? Okay. Well, criticism is everywhere, even in this podcast. Joanna, I was going to ask you, when was the time you were criticized and it held you back?
One time I was trying to read in class and I finally finished the section because I had been really struggling. The teacher said, okay, that's enough. And somebody in the classroom shouted out, I think so.
And it's because of dyslexia.
I had a hard time reading and it was very difficult for me. Somebody just went out and, basically you can't read, so shut up.
Yeah, that tonality sounds like it was horrible.
It was horrible.
Right. We've had other conversations like that. You wanted to write, but how many years did you not write?
Oh, more than 10 years.
And this is the essence of what we're talking about here, is that this experience of criticism that hurts so deeply, or fear of getting new criticism, can stop us from moving forward.
Yes.
Fortunately, in this conversation, we're going to talk about what I call the 3 R's, so that you can handle criticism and you can move forward.
Awesome.
So the first R is rehearse replies. Now the interesting thing is, this is called wit of the staircase. And the old idea was that we would come up with things to say in response to someone criticizing us, but we would think about it 20 minutes later while we're walking down the stairs, getting out of the building. So we didn't know how to handle criticism. So I was working with a client, and this filmmaker was concerned because she had some material from early in her filmmaking that was slapped up onto YouTube. And she was concerned that she'd get criticism. And so we worked it out that she had responses like, did you laugh? Because it was some humor stuff. Or works for some, doesn't work for others. Or to say, that was early in my body of work. The whole point is, by having ways to reply, you feel stronger on the inside and you can handle it.
So it sounds like eating a good breakfast will make you strong.
Exactly. You're prepared. You have energy. So that's the first R. The second R is reduce exposure. Sometimes we take on maybe a project, or we're making a comment or something like that, that makes us too exposed. I've had clients who decided that they weren't going to reveal some childhood trauma quite yet in their career. They would wait till later because they didn't want to get defined by the one detail. But after they demonstrated that they're a performer or some form of artist or writer of books or something like that, after they established their creative identity, then later on they could go into other topics. But reducing exposure, you make a conscious choice. Just because somebody asks you a question, you don't have to answer it. You can say, this doesn't feel like the right venue for that conversation. Or that's not what we're here to talk about. And you see this sometimes with certain celebrities. What they'll do is they'll say, well, that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about helping the children with this foundation. How about we talk about that?
Yeah.
So the point is, reducing exposure, if you know that you are prepared, then you know you can handle situations where criticism might come up. The third R is right size your message. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is that if you are specific and brief with whatever your message is, then whatever kind of criticism that comes in, you realize that you can better handle it. Now, for example, I'm Asian, and so I noticed that many broadcast television shows are doing better with diversity. African Americans, Hispanic folks, Asian folks, this is great. So when a project, a mainstream entertainment project comes along, they just avoid having difficulties by making sure that they have a diverse cast. And so therefore, I put this under the umbrella of right size your message. When I say right size, I'm also mean just really craft your message so that it doesn't get clogged up with distractions. It would be distracting if there was a TV show that was not diverse and everybody wouldn't be talking about the subject of the show. They'd be talking about how there's no diversity in this cast.
Yes.
that would be distracting. So when I speak of right size your message, don't take on too much stuff. Be focused and also remove the distractions. Now's a good time for a Marcoux moment. That's when I share an excerpt from one of my 47 books up on Amazon. This book is Darkest Secrets of Charisma. The subtitle is Overcome the Lies About Personal Magnetism. Get people to feel your charisma and influence others with your words. On page 61, it says, reshape your self-doubt with instant reframing. And then on page 62, we go into an example. You have two different people who make a mistake, and Margie tells herself, damn, I said the wrong number. I'm so stupid. In contrast, Trudy tells herself, oh, I made an error. I can fix this. Do you see the two different frames? One is mistake equals I'm stupid. The other one is made an error. I can fix this. Even the word error has less of an emotional charge than mistake. My point is that you can clog yourself up with self-condemnation, which fuels self-doubt. This puts up a wall between you and the audience. Why is this important? When you're full of self-doubt and self-condemnation, you naturally want to step back from what you perceive as causing the pain, the audience. In fact, many of the clients and graduate students I've worked with literally step back until they learn from me how to connect with an audience. So that's the end of our excerpt. We're talking about Darkest Secrets of Charisma. So now, Johanna, I'm curious. What are you going to keep from our conversation?
I just really liked the whole topic of move forward even if you're criticized.
I'm with you. And the main idea here with those 3 R's, rehearse replies, reduce exposure, right size your message, is that if you have strategy and you rehearse, you're able to handle criticism. In fact, you're so prepared that you can take it, and you know you can take it. You have evidence because of rehearsals. This is what I do with my clients. I call it behavior change through incremental evidence, meaning that when they rehearse with me, something I call directed rehearsal, they get past something I call default rehearsal, which is when they ruminate and they have fears and they think of mistakes from the past. That's default rehearsal. That's kind of like a rumination problem that's rolling over and over again in somebody's mind. Instead, with directed rehearsal, and that's what these 3 R's help you do, you're prepared, which means criticism can't slow you down. You know you're going to get criticism because you are rising above and saying, hey, world, here I am. I've got something of value. And your value is clear in you, and that's what makes you strong. And you keep moving forward. So the whole idea is when you prepare for criticism in advance, and you know that you're prepared, you will be able to bring your good value and message to the world. You can't be held back. Thank you, Johanna.
Thank you, Tom. Click to subscribe to this channel.
And then you'll be supporting Johanna, me, and our message.
Tom helps people in other ways.
As a spoken word strategist and executive coach, I help people really connect and get yes. I help them with their speeches, pitches, video marketing, and networking. And I help them prepare for that crucial life-changing meeting. As you're ready to go to the next step, see special videos, find out about my books and coaching at getthebigyes.com/next step.
And so remember,
perform at your best with words, strategy, and rehearsal
for your success.